Hi, physical science class. Okay, so we are going to continue with the lesson that you had last week about speed and velocity, and we're going to do some velocity calculations. I forgot my pen, hold on. Okay, so this is the equation that you learned last week. V for velocity equals distance divided by time. So that distance is how far you traveled, and the time is how long it took you to travel that far. And it is a velocity if you have included the direction someplace in your word problem. If you do not tell me the direction or draw a picture of the direction, then it's a speed, not a velocity, because velocity is a vector. It includes an arrow. The length of the arrow says how fast it's going. If it's going slow, the arrow is short. If it's going fast, the arrow is long. And the direction of the arrow will tell me what direction the object is traveling in. Okay, so we're going to do a word problem, and in your word problems, you have to have the following things. So we're going to do one of them on the board together, and then I'm going to read you 2 other word problems, and you are going to do all 7 steps for those other word problems, and you're going to submit all 3 to me, the one that we do on the board together, and the other 2 that I read to you. And you are going to have to stop the video and pause it, listen again, back it up, whatever you have to do to get all 7 steps completed, okay? All right, so let's take a look at the steps here. The first step is you're going to draw me a picture, and physicists are not artistes, so it makes sense to me if your picture's a little goofy, don't spend too much time on it. I just need a drawing knowing what's happening. You're going to draw the vector arrows. So after listening to the word problem, you're going to be able to show me if that arrow is big or small and the direction of it. And if I don't give you a direction in the word problem, then you choose the direction in your drawing. You are going to write your knowns. Now, when we talk about knowns or unknowns, we mean these letters here. And those letters are variables that are used in algebra. A variable is just a letter that represents a number. So you are going to have all of these listed down the side, and when we read the word problem, you are going to identify some of them. If I tell you what the distance is, you're going to put D equals with that number there. And that leads you into the next one. You're going to write your unknown. Whatever I'm asking for at the end of the problem is your unknown, and you're going to put a question mark next to the unknown. So if it's a velocity problem and I'm asking for velocity, then when you're listing your knowns and unknowns, you're going to have D listed with a number, T listed with a number, and you're going to have V with a question mark next to it because that's what I'm asking you for. The next step, you have to write out the equation with just the variables. Don't write it out with the numbers. That means that this equation right here, without the words, just this, you're going to write off to the side so that I know what equation you're using, and so that I know that you know what equation you're using. Underneath that, you're going to rewrite the number or the equation again, but this time you're going to have the numbers in there. So it'll be V equals something divided by something. And then you're going to solve it using a calculator, and I'll show you how to use the calculator. Feel free to use the calculator on your phone. And you need to put a box around the answer, and the answer needs to have the units next to it. And so do these knowns and unknowns. You have to have units there, or I will assume something lame like monkeys or bananas, and we do not calculate monkeys or bananas in physics class. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a problem. The very first thing you have to do is draw me a picture, and you need to draw me something called an axis. So your drawing is going to have an x-axis on it. So this looks just like a line graph that you're doing in Miss West's math class. And this line here is where we're starting. And over here is showing us, the arrow is showing us the direction, and things are moving in the positive x direction. If something was to travel that way, it would be in the negative x direction. And this line right here is considered 0, or the starting point. Okay, so let's draw a picture of a car. So I'm going to state the word problem to you. Let me write stuff down so I don't forget what it is. We're going to go 25 meters in 5 seconds. Okay, so your word problem is going to be a car has traveled 25 meters in 5 seconds. What is its velocity? Now you have to draw me a picture first. Here is our line, and here is my car. And it has a lightning bolt on the side. That is a little VW bus with a lightning bolt on the side. You either know who that car belongs to or you don't. So here's my car, and it is traveling in that direction. So that is my drawing. All right, now you need to draw the vectors of it. Now we said that it is 25 meters in 5 seconds, and it's going in that direction. So we're going to draw a dot where the car is. and draw an arrow right there, and we're going to label that V. So V is the label of the vector. I know that it's a velocity now and not a distance or an acceleration because of the V. And this is, it's not incredibly long, so it's not going incredibly fast. It's not incredibly short. It's not going incredibly slow. And I know that it's traveling in that direction. So here is the picture. Here is the vector. And now you need to write your knowns. So we're going to list all of these variables here. D equals, T equals, V equals. And let's repeat our problem. A car traveled 25 meters in 5 seconds. So 25 meters, that is a number that needs to be written on one of these. And I know that it is a distance because of the units. The units are important. The units are meters. That's how we know it is a distance. 25 meters. And you can write out the word meters, or you can just give me a lowercase m. Don't write an uppercase m. That means something else. Okay, so the word problem was a car traveled 25 meters in 5 seconds. 5 seconds is our other unit, and we know it's a time because seconds are there. So 5 seconds. All right, and in the question I said, what is the velocity of a car that traveled 25 meters in 5 seconds? So velocity is what we're asking for, so you're going to put a question mark right there. Okay, so we have now written out our knowns, or the numbers that are known to us from the word problem. We've written out our unknown, the number that is not known from the word problem that we are asking for. And now we need to write out the equation with the variables. This is going to include the letters. So it's that equation right there. You're going to just rewrite it over here. V equals D over T. Now you're going to rewrite it, plugging the numbers into that equation. So V equals that distance, and you have to include the units, 25 meters divided by 5 seconds. 5 seconds. All right, equals, and the last step. The last step is to put the answer into a box with the units there. All right, so this is how you're going to plug this into your calculator. You are going to do the top number, divide bottom number. You read this equation just like a sentence. 25 divide 5 equals. All right, so here's how we're going to do it. 25 divide 5 equals. And there's your answer. The answer is 5. And you might have been able to do that in your head. Good for you. You know your times tables. 25 divided by 5. 5 goes into 25 5 times. So here's our answer, 5. And you have to include those units, and you cannot lose any units. Whatever units are in the problem, they have to stay. And whatever you did to those units, that has to stay too. So if you took meters and divided it by seconds, then the units have to show that. So the units are meters divided by seconds. Okay, so that is the entirety of what I want from you on these word problems. Now, question number 1 is this. You are going to give me all of this, my drawing, my vectors, my knowns, my unknowns with the units, my equation with the variables, my equation with the numbers, the answer in a box with the units next to it, showing me what you did to get that answer. Okay, so here are your other 2 word problems. All right, question number 1. A car drove 4 miles in 3 minutes. What was the velocity of the car? A car drove 4 miles in 3 minutes. What was the velocity of the car? Okay, so you should pause the video right now, and you should go through and you should draw me each one of these pictures with the knowns and unknowns. Give me the equation with your new numbers in there. Calculate that with your calculator and put the answer in a box with the units over here. And notice the units are not meters per second. We said the car drove 4 miles in 3 minutes, so your units are going to be different. Okay, the next question is a little bit more interesting. A bullet traveled 1,700 meters, that is 1,700 meters in 2 seconds. What was the velocity? A bullet traveled 1,700 meters in 2 seconds. What was the velocity of the bullet? Okay, so now in your drawing, you're not going to have a car, you're going to have a bullet, you're going to have a velocity vector. Bullets are fast, right? And compared to people walking or cars, so draw your vector appropriately. Give me a different distance and a time for that bullet. and velocity is still what we're asking for. This is the same equation. You're going to plug in your numbers over here, and these are bigger numbers, and I'm assuming that you're probably going to need your calculator, and your units are different. It went 1,700 meters in 2 seconds. Okay, so those are your problems for today. Give me drawings of them, take a picture of them, and send me the picture. You can send it to that text message that I've been communicating with through my email. It'll come straight into my email. That's what I prefer. Feel free to directly email it to me also. You can send it to Katie Monica at nvmcsd.org. That's KEADY.MONICA at nvmcsd.org. All right, you're also going to be receiving some paperwork from your other teachers about your time frames. All of your schoolwork is due by May 15th. So any of these assignments that I don't have from you, you need to complete them. You have 2 weeks to complete them. And you are going to be receiving work next week and the week after also, okay? All right, so as long as you're getting in your work, you're going to be fine. You'll get your credit and you'll pass the class, okay? So don't worry, just get your work done and do it as it comes rather than waiting until the last night and sending it to me at 3 a.m. Some of you are communicating with me at 3 a.m. You know who you are. Okay, so I hope you are all doing well, and I hope that the next month goes well for us and we can then enjoy our summer social distancing. All right, take care.